Hello Gemini, and welcome to your April reading. I hope that this month has gotten off to a great start for you, and I can't wait to get to all of the insight that's coming through for you during this reading. Now, as you know, I like to begin with some channeled information. The way I get that is right before I start reading, I meditate, and then I also do some free writing or some channeled writing. And as I was doing that, a few things started to come through for you. The first is I really want you to take your time. I wrote, do not rush. Take time in making decisions and listen to your heart. Let it do the heavy lifting, not your head. And as I was meditating, I got a vision of the ancient Egyptian goddess. I believe her name was Maat, but she had a feather that she would use to weigh your heart against. There was the scales, and she would put a feather here and then your heart here. And basically that was I think it was the gauge to see if your heart was light enough, it could go into the to the afterworld. If not, then you were in trouble. But you're not going to be in trouble here this month. What we're really focusing on is making decisions with a moral compass, and also with what feels good to your heart and to your soul. So don't be pushed into making a decision that either feels contrary to what you want to do, contrary to your morals, your beliefs, what you know that you have to do, that what is basically the difference between right and wrong. And know that when all else fails, this is really how intuition works. It's not always what makes sense, it's what feels right. And because I really want to help all of you become more intuitive and more psychic, what you have to start to do is to see, hear, and feel with your heart, with your subtle body, with your third eye. It's not so much about the noise in the head this month. And as an air sign, that can sometimes be a difficulty because it's only natural. You want to think through things. But this month, I really want you to feel things, engage with, really with your heart. That's what came through. And so don't worry. Again, the vision of Maat is more to sort of help you from making a decision that you might regret. And I believe that as long as you go with what your heart says, you're going to be fine this month. Now, as most of you know, after I do the channeled information, I pull a Celtic cross followed by an expanded forecast. So let's go ahead and get straight into the shuffling of the cards, and we'll see what they have to say. At this point, I usually remain quiet so that I can focus on the not only the placement of the cards, but also what kind of information is going to come through. So I'll let you do the same as well. And we'll talk as soon as I've pulled all of the cards in the cross. Okay, and at this point I like to take a look at what I call a catalyst, and this really ties everything together. It also connects with that channeled information. It might be a way to get more in touch with your intuition. Okay, so the catalyst this month is the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is a great card. This is really one where as long as you are kind of like grounded, you won't lose your wits. But the Nine of Cups is a card of celebration, but it can be a card of extremes too. Now, it can be a card of extreme highs, extreme lows, and it can also just be a card that shows that lack of balance, which is what I was getting with Maat. So I want you to make sure that you are doing your best balancing act that you can this month, so that things don't get out of control, or that you don't do something that you regret in the weeks or months to come. The month overall is looking pretty good. I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see everything. As we look at the central card here, it is Temperance. And that speaks volumes about what we were just talking about, which is to try not to go to extremes. And right over top of that, we have probably one of the most celebratory cards here, which is the Three of Cups. Now, this is showing me that some of you may actually have cause to celebrate. There might be something that breaks through at the beginning of the month where you just feel like, I worked so hard for this, I'm really excited, and I think you should engage in some sort of celebration if that feels good. Just remember to keep it more at the Three of Cups and not so much the Nine of Cups, which could be sometimes a little bit over the top. One thing that I also got when I pulled this card was a download of the word peer pressure, or the phrase peer pressure. So I don't want you to feel, again, forced into doing something, coerced into doing something, or This card can be about gossip or, again, sort of like societal pressures. So one thing that you can do this month to make sure that your heart stays light and is really staying on your own compass, your own path, is to tune out some of that pressure that you might be hearing or feeling from others. What I'm looking at from deep past here, the last couple of months leading up until now, is that some of you may have been having a difficult time either finding a way to communicate what's on your mind, or being heard or being seen as an equal. And so if that's been something that's still bothering you, at the beginning of this month, I think what's important is to realize that you have all that it takes already to do what you need to do. The Hierophant, or the High Priest, is a great card for being able to navigate difficult structures, hierarchies. You see this in schools and universities, and even in sort of legal structures or government. So whatever the bureaucracy or the red tape is that you have to sort of find your way through this month, this card is reminding you that struggle for being heard, for being understood, it's coming to a close. I want you to feel that you are in charge now, that you can make this happen. In the crowning position, we have the Nine of Pentacles. It's reversed. This is really a reminder that you're making great strides towards financial independence and stability. However, there are some delays. You don't want to rush things this month. And so this is a time when you really do want to tune into your intuition, which we were talking about earlier. And if something seems like it's too good to be true, it probably is. If there's some sort of a financial deal or purchase, hold off this month. And that's universal advice for all signs, but specifically for yours, since this was in the crowning position. If you were to look at a traditional Rider-Waite card, there's a woman, there's basically money growing on a bush behind her, and then there's a little snail in front. What the snail indicates is like slow and steady is what's going to win the race or earn you your financial freedom. Here we see that indication of the passage of time with this spindle or this wheel that she's working on. The same thing goes there. You can't rush through it. And whenever I see a wheel reversed, or if I were to look at the traditional card and I was looking at the snail and it was reversed, it's showing me that you can't rush it. And if you do, there could be some folly. So take your time, be smart, and know that you're probably going to get some indications this month that you're making some good progress. Take that and embrace it, and don't worry about what other people are thinking. And again, with the Three of Cups, there may be other people that are either sort of pushing you into something, even if it didn't make sense for them, just because they want to see what you'll do. So don't give in to pressures, or again, sort of societal norms sometimes are pushing you down the wrong path. All right, now as we look at your near future card, we have the High Priestess in reverse. This is a card that's kind of giving you a fair warning that you need to tune into what your heart, what your intuition is saying this month. This is a card that is, I closely associate with psychic phenomenon, intuition, and your gut instinct. It's also a manifestation card, but when it's reversed, I'm really seeing that you're not listening to what you know is best, or there's a potential to maybe veer off path. So you don't have to do that. Basically, this card is reminding you that as long as you follow your heart and really pay attention to things, even, like I said, it may not make sense, but for some reason you know, I need to do this or I shouldn't do this. Honor that intuition, and know that it's valid. The other part of this is to not second guess your ability to manifest. If we pull down the camera for a moment, in your ego we have the Magician card, the Witch in this deck, but the Magician card, so with the High Priestess and the Magician, these two are manifestation cards. The reversal of the two of these is showing me that you might be either lacking focus or confidence, or you may not believe that something's possible. I want you to move past that doubt and fear if you can this month. And I think part of this could be because you're just feeling like there's a lot on your mind, there's a lot to take in. And whenever I see the Seven of Cups, it's a great card if you're in a situation in your life where you have to come up with new ideas. So good time for research, for development, for exploration, but sometimes you can get lost in this card. I don't know if you've ever gone shopping and tried to find a present, and if you see too many options, you have no idea what to do. Or if you're just trying to figure out, like, there's 2 or 3 options on the table for a decision, they all look good, you're almost wishing that some things would go wrong so that you could more clearly pick the choice that's right. This is when you're going to have to tune into your heart, and you're just going to have to go with it. The same way we work with like cards or runes, you know where to go, you know what to pick. The same thing you can apply to your real life, where there's a few situations. You're not always going to have these tools, and this is why eventually I hope all of us can get to the point where we can use or not use cards. They're just there to trigger our intuition. In real life, you're going to have to hear in your head or in your heart or clairaudiently what it is you need to do and go with that, okay? Now, as the other thing that I'm getting with this, by the way, is if we kind of take apart all of what I just said and look at some other things that could be going on, I feel like you might be getting too much feedback from others in your life as well. So for those of you that maybe you have a creative project and you're trying to get critiques, there is such a thing as too much. I think at a certain point you know when to reel it in and just to make some decisions. Same thing with anything that you're trying to decide. If you want to think, should I start a family? Should I marry this person? Etc., etc. At the end of the day, it's your choice to make. All these other voices are great, but they're not the ones that matter. It's yours. So I want you to start to value your own voice more than perhaps you have in the past. And know that it's a valuable, you have great insight and great intellect. Okay, it's a good month for love. This is a question I get a lot. This is in hopes and fears. We have Ace of Cups right there. So yes, if you're looking to date this month, it's a great time. And actually, your outcome card is Knight of Cups. So first I'm going to talk about how this could relate to those of you that are single. So for single people, there could be a strong water sign that's coming in. Since it's a Knight card, I do actually feel that that person would be someone that's either very approachable or may come over and talk to you. Now, if you're single and not looking to date, this is a great time to tap into your creativity. Whenever I see passion in cards, it can also be creative flow. So if you wanted to do something new in your life that requires creative thought, maybe it's solving a business problem, painting a house, writing a book, whatever it is that you want to do, this energy is at your disposal this month. You don't have to date someone when you see love cards. You can actually use that passion in other areas. If you're in an existing relationship, this is a reminder to be there for your partner, to take initiative, because Knights are not quiet. They don't wait for people to come to them. They usually bring information to others, just like a page would. Kings and queens may wait, but not a knight, not a page. So you're going to want to really go after, and more aggressively than just say, I want this. Sometimes you're going to have to take action this month if you want to bring something into your life, something that you love. And in relationships, the same is true. If you want to date someone, or if you want to marry someone, or if you want to have a difficult conversation, it's going to be you that will be doing the initiating this month, not waiting. And it's good. Like, you need reciprocity. So just know that you're the agent of change, and this is your turn, and maybe in the future it'll be someone else's turn. But I think that if you speak your heart, that's what's important, and I think it'll be well received. Now that we've taken a look at all of the main messages here in the cards, let's expand the forecast. We'll begin with your health message. For me, health is mind, body, and spirit. So let's give the cards a shuffle and see what message wants to come through. So we have a beautiful message here that says, hope is the conduit for miracles. What I really like about this card is it reminds you that hope is probably one of the most powerful tools that you have at your disposal. There are no guarantees in life, but I can say this: if you don't have hope, it's pretty much a given that whatever it is you're trying to do is going to be much more difficult. Whether it's accomplishing a goal, getting healthier, whatever it is you want to do, if you don't have hope or belief in yourself or faith in yourself, then the cards are basically stacked against you. However, if you believe that something's possible, then it actually becomes possible in the universe. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but if you don't believe it can happen, you've already ruled it out. So what I want you to do is to attach yourself to feelings of hope, of optimism, of possibilities this month. Now we're looking at health, so this is about not looking at where you're at or what you've lost. So if you've had an injury or if you're not feeling yourself, that's fine. Like, whatever it is about you right now that isn't what it was, accept it, allow yourself a moment to kind of work through it, and then instead of continuing on that path, set some goals for realistic opportunities of recovery, of growth, of new goals in your life. Set new goals and work towards them, and be hopeful and diligent in that energy. And then I believe that you have a much better chance of something happening and perhaps exceeding your own expectations. Okay, let's take a look now at your wealth card. This can include any relationship with money or self-worth. Let's just see what the card has to say, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we have the thinking man here reversed. And this really is underlining what I said earlier, which was not to get lost in your thoughts. So with money, make decisions based on your core instincts. And if you feel like it's a bad investment, if you feel like it's the wrong time, if you feel like you just can't make the decision right now, then put it off. Don't overthink. You either need to be able to make that decision or shelf it for another day when your thoughts are clearer. Remember what I said though earlier, sometimes seeking out endless sources of advice or researching too much online can be dangerous. I'm sure we've all fallen into that trap of looking up something on WebMD and wondering, am I okay? And then you see all this information and you just get really nervous. And that's probably more damaging than just going and talking to the doctor or letting it pass. So with this, don't overthink, don't do too much research. You already know what you need to do with your money and with your career opportunities. Listen to that internal compass and you won't be led astray. All right, let's take a look now at your love forecast and see what's coming through for relationships. Choose your path, or choosing your path here. This is, again, we have this sort of overarching note of possibilities this month, and with those possibilities, decisions that have to be made. This is a reminder that whatever it is you're seeking in love, whether it's a new relationship, a deepening of a relationship, or maybe deciding to go out and be independent and try something on your own for a change, that it's your choice to make. And that's both liberating and also it can sometimes be paralyzing because you realize at the end of the day that you're the one that has to make the decision. Sometimes you look back at when you were in school or when you were a kid, it was easier because you had rules, you had to follow them, someone would tell you if you were right or wrong. The older you get, the more you realize you're the one that has to make those choices, and ultimately you have to sort of live with those choices. So once you realize that it's okay, you're going to make the right decision as long as you follow your heart, you're going to be okay. All right, now it's time to take a look at your Destiny card. Destiny is a GPS, and if you like the direction in which you're headed, this card is just encouraging you to stay on that path. If not, it gives you a chance to do a course correction. So we have Divine Justice. Notice how we have a common theme throughout this. I mentioned that what I was channeling at the beginning was that Egyptian goddess that weighed your soul. We have here Divine Justice, which is along the same lines here. You have to feel like what you're doing is right. And notice here that you don't always get to see all of the pieces of the puzzle. You have to trust. And I believe as long as you trust yourself, you're going to be okay. We've gotten a lot of confirmation with that this month. And so ultimately, I think it's a good month for you because you're learning about your own power, your own good decision-making ability. And that's going to be a foundation that will bring you strength, opportunity, and a sense of fulfillment as you move forward in the future. Let's review everything we talked about. When I tuned into your sign this month, I wrote down this. I said, do not rush. Take your time making decisions and listen to your heart. Let it do the heavy lifting, not your head. And again, we look in your Destiny card here and we've got exactly that. Your Catalyst card this month was the Nine of Cups, which is showing me that there might be something that is worth celebrating at the beginning, but there's a caution with this, not to go overboard, not to get too excited or too upset this month. Whatever happens, you really want to follow what we see here with the center card, which is Temperance. Just try to keep one foot in the water and one foot on solid ground and you should be okay. Part of that includes tuning out unnecessary chatter, unnecessary gossip, and realizing that, again, a small celebration is fine, but trying not to overdo it this month. If there was any frustration in being able to express yourself, confirmation that this month you're going to be able to navigate any sort of hierarchy or political structures that are in your way. Money is actually headed in a good direction, as is career, but there's some delays right now, so be patient, don't rush it. Remember, we were talking about the snail earlier. Slow and steady wins the race. Your manifestation cards are reversed, both the High Priestess and the Magician. Know that you have the ability to make things happen. Whenever I see both of them reverse, it can also be about having too many things that you're dealing with at the same time. So if necessary, pick one or two things that are worth your attention, let the other things go. When it comes to your decisions that you're trying to make, you might have too many voices, too many options, too many things in general. With that as well, try to narrow your scope a little bit. There is an opportunity for either a deepening of existing relationships or new relationships if you'd like, or simply taking that energy and doing something creative with it. Your health card was all about mind over matter. When we look at your wealth card, don't overthink it. Do what feels right, but definitely don't overthink it. You already know what to do. When it comes to love this month, I do feel that for some of you, this is about taking a leap of faith. This reminds me of the Fool, and that's about stepping out on your own. So you might be trying something new, expressing yourself, or taking a risk in your relationship. It looks like it's a good risk, though. This person isn't leaping before they're looking. They're actually taking some time to think. And finally, we're talking a lot about thinking. I want you to focus more on knowing. Know what is right, and then do what you need to do to make that happen. If it doesn't feel like it is right, or if it's legitimately working against morals, rules, or regulations, this card is saying, don't do it. It's not worth the risk. Okay, that's everything for this month. So if you'd ever like to chat a little bit more about a big decision in your life, because these are general forecasts, I'm here for you. You can take a look at that first link, and it will let you check out my rates and availability, and you can see if that works for you. Also, even though I post a few videos per month, if you want to keep in touch with me across all networks, I encourage you to do so. The last link in the description area is to follow me on social networks. So feel free to look at that and join me on Instagram, on Facebook, or on Twitter, or to join my newsletter. Also, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, you can do that by clicking subscribe and also that bell icon below. Also, if you'd like to support this channel, it is viewer supported, and your help goes a long way. It helps me buy new decks of cards each month, and a donation as little as $1 can make a really big difference when it comes to that. So the second link is a donation link, and you can see that there are several methods to do so on my website. Finally, and most importantly, I like to extend heartfelt gratitude each month for the work that you guys are doing on yourselves. Yes, you come here to sort of see what's going on each month, but I know that you're also working to expand your intuition, to shine a little bit brighter, and to ultimately create a community of light, which is something that we talked about last month. I'm also challenging all of you to hopefully one day share in the same way that I'm sharing your teachings, your insight, your inspiration, or just be there for someone. One person at a time, we can make this planet a better place. Keep doing the work you're doing, because I believe that you're getting us one step closer to that. So thank you so much for allowing me to be part of that journey. I wish you much love, much light, now and always. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.